I think I'm live. Oh my goodness. Hi everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's Elena here at the Witches Box, and we get together every Tuesday live at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time or Pacific Daylight Time. I don't even know what's going on with the clock, but every Tuesday, 1 o'clock, whatever that might be, we get together here where I do a live oracle reading for the week, and then we hang out and do witchcraft talk. We chat about all things witchcraft. So I want to say hello to Emerence slash Mimsy. We've got Lissem here, Season Wee Moon, who's also Jilmar. Welcome, Ms. Wheats. Beautiful. I love that name. And Meredith, welcome. I'm a little loopy today. So let me preface the whole thing by saying that I think I'm getting a head cold. So I'm a little wonky. So we'll see how this goes. Hello, Tatiana. Welcome, welcome. And so let's see what the comments have been. Hold on a second. Crafting my life, welcome. Okay, so Mimsy says, woohoo, I made it. Holy cow, what a week. A flooded bathroom. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Listen says, been a couple of odd. It's been a little odd, yeah. The energy's a little wonk. A little wonky wonk. For sure. Good Tuesday from the autumnal breathtaking beauty of North Carolina. Julmar, I may be swinging through your neck of the woods soon. I'll be in I'm not sure, but I may be in South Carolina for a couple of days over the holiday season. Hello, Mia Love, hello Farrell, hello Jamal, Alexis. Welcome everybody. I love it. Welcome. All right. Let me take some water. Yeah, I woke up this morning with that kind of suspicious scratchy scratch in the throat. I do not think that it's COVID because I've had COVID already and it's a different vibe. So it's very much a head cold vibe. But I had been bragging. Who was I bragging to? Because, we're all wearing our masks for the most part. Not everyone's wearing masks. Oh, I feel like I have something in my mouth. And because the mask wearing, I've been doing a lot of mask wearing when I'm out in public. I've like been like sick free, no illness, no infections, no anything for almost 2 years. It's been kind of epic. I'm sorry, I have a thing, and it's kind of making me crazy. And this morning I woke up with a scratchy throat. So we'll see how this goes. Hello from England. Hi, Jacqueline. Welcome. Elsbeth, welcome. Wonky Wonk. Hi from Scotland. My best friend is currently in Scotland. I'm so envious because it's so beautiful out there. Welcome. You're next to Chapel Hill. And we'll talk. That'd be awesome to get together. I feel like I've missed some names. Have I missed some names? No, I don't think I have. This year's flu is brutal. Well, listen, I don't know if it's a flu, so let's not call it that yet. I think it's definitely a head cold. However, that's the other thing that we really haven't been talking about, that a lot of people just completely missed the last flu season because we were all masked up, and I'm hoping that we kind of skip past the flu season again this year. Because the masks aren't just good for the COVID. It's good for the flu, head colds, the whole thing. But we'll see how it goes. In any case, I'm a little loopy. Bear with me. That's all I can say. That said, what did I want to show you before we get started? Hold on a second. My computer system is my setup is a little different than it's been last time. So I need to, we have just shifted over. So we've been working with this deck. And now this season is over, which is kind of bittersweet. And now this is what we're switching to. Seasons of the Witch, Yule Oracle. I mean, I'm kind of a fan for life. I'm not going to lie. This is also by Lorraine Anderson, Juliet, Diaz, and illustrated by Giada Rose. I've already shuffled, but I also wanted to do a little bit of a show and tell with this deck because the artwork is so beautiful. Hi, Angela. Welcome. These, I don't think you can see because of, it's green. Come on. And this is the back, but I'll show you the other cards a little later after I do the oracle reading because I already shuffled and pulled a card. But I'm super excited I'll probably be with this deck, I think, until maybe January, so we can get used to it and play with it. But they did a beautiful job, and the illustrations are just gorgeous. So I'm hoping, I don't know if I've heard any rumors or words, but if anyone knows, it would be great if they did a deck for each season, right? So there's that. All right, I have got big hair today. All things are kind of just, I don't know. It's a wonk fest. Um, yeah, the decks, Farrell, are beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. They did a beautiful job. It's really exquisite. The only thing, I mean, it's the same criticism. I don't know what it is. It's the same criticism, I think, for this deck as the other one, where this is the card actually that I pulled, but the little blurb doesn't quite seem to do the thing. I don't know what it is, but again, the themes, the words, the imagery, beautiful. So this is the card that I pulled. There it is. Self-care, it's number 31, which feels incredibly appropriate. I think that when I first pulled it, I was like, yeah, of course. It wasn't a surprise that that's the card that came up. Because we are now entering, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we are entering into a much colder season. We are now at like almost the end of the second full year of the world being in an incredibly stressful place. And people are still feeling a lot of symptoms of just burnout, right? A lot of stress, a lot of burnout. And then on top of that, because we're able to gather more with people, we're able to finally see family. It feels like we're gearing up for like a high winter season where people are going to be doing a lot of things, getting together with people, rightly so, because we've been kind of isolated for a while. But a lot of that tends to fly in the face of what the season is calling for our bodies and for our mental health and our spiritual health. The retreat, the going quiet, the going more within, the deeper introspection. And then, of course, if you are in the US, we tend to exaggerate things to a point where it's just ridiculous. And so shopping and all the consumerism and all of that kind of frenzy that comes along with entering into November and December can really do a number on our health and our care for ourselves. And so the fact that this card came up felt like it was just right now. We're at where are we at? I think we're in the second week of November. We are at the doorway of that madness. We're just about to walk in, right? We have Thanksgiving in a week and a half or 2 weeks in the United States. And then we have the Christmas. The whole month of December is basically Christmas consumerist month, right? Especially in the Western world. But again, it feels like the US just likes to exaggerate everything times 100. And so because it's coming up this week, it feels like, hey, like a wake-up call, like a reminder, like a little shake-up, like, hey, we're about to enter a pretty intense season. You need to evaluate, and the you is you, but the you is me. The you is all of us, right? We all need to evaluate, what are we needing that we're not giving ourselves? What new needs are going to come up as we begin to get together with family, as we begin to go out into the world and do our shopping and do the things that we do to prepare for all of these holidays that are coming up. Like a deep, very mindful, very still check-in. Where are you at right now? And what are you not giving yourself that you really need to be giving yourself? And what new needs will be coming up that would be really proactive of you to be aware of and prepare for those in advance. And some of those things could be things like boundaries. What are going to be your boundaries about getting together with people? What are your boundaries around going to parties? What are your boundaries around going to dinner with family, with that family member that you have a hard time with, right? Know ahead of time, decide for yourself how you're going to interact with all of those things that are coming your way ahead of time as a way of self-care can be incredibly powerful. The boundaries are important for self-care. The taking time out is important for self-care. Setting a budget, because this is a big deal. Setting a budget for yourself for like the holiday gift giving is part of your self-care, right? What are your botanical allies to help support your health? She says, as she has a scratchy throat, as you enter into a colder season and a little bit more of a stressful season. So having these things like a checklist so that you are prepared and you can walk through the entire next couple of months with an understanding of how to take care of yourself is super important. It's a very empowered stance to have, as opposed to deciding as you go when things hit you in the moment. Does that make sense? So that is what this card is bringing up. Take this week to really dive into that kind of self-inquiry. What are you going to be needing? What are you needing now that you're not giving yourself, and how to really manage that? And then what do you anticipate really needing in order to keep your self-care at your highest priority as you move through this upcoming season? So there you go. That is the oracle reading for today, for this week. It's a beautiful card. I love the muted colors. I mean, you've heard me talk about this. The artistry for this is amazing. This is the book that comes with it. There we go. And they do well with giving you information on each card. And then do you want to see a couple of the other cards? They're just gorgeous. There's this one, Gather, which looks like a cozy, amazing gathering. Because this is the other thing. We want to see our people. I haven't done this in a long time, but we're on Tuesday. Last Saturday, I led a ritual in person, a live in-person ritual. It was amazing. And it was just so, it was so nourishing. It was so nourishing to be in a room with other people and doing sacred work. We need this. We need this time to come back together. It's important that we do, but we also are out of practice. And so knowing what those boundaries need to be, knowing what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, and how you're going to set those boundaries is such an important part of your self-care. Okay. So this is turning, there it is, turning inward. This is merriment. This is frost. I see everyone chatting. I'll go to the chat box in a second. This is Yule log. Isn't that beautiful? It's so sweet. This is beautiful. This is called snow. Oh, this is beautiful too. This is darkest hour. I'll do a couple more and then we can go to the chatting. This is gratitude. This is Father Christmas. So sweet. All right, this is the last, well, two more. This is Reindeer Medicine. So there are some animal cards in this deck that are lovely. And then this is the last one. This is called Ceremony. Beautiful, just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful deck. And for those of you who are just joining, I just finished up the oracle reading. And this is the deck that we're reading from. It's Season of the Witch, Yule Oracle, because we have spent a lot of time on this deck, but since this season is over, we've moved on to Yule, and I'm super excited. This is the back. Oops, I have to hide my face or else it won't. There we go. And it's green on the side. It's so beautiful. So if you missed the oracle reading, you can definitely catch that on the replay, because we keep these here. And now I'm going to put the deck away and look at what's going on in the chat. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I have to write this down. So I'm looking at the chat. Let me get a pen because I see how there are suggestions coming. You can't, this is from Crafting My Life says, hello, Layla, welcome. Crafting My Life says, Elena, you can't miss the Earthcraft Oracle. I mean, I'm going to go look at that the minute I get off of this. Earthcraft Oracle by Juliet. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for the rec. Beautiful. Mimsy says, for those who have that family member who have a hard time with your new phase, not my monkey, or your new phrase, not my monkeys, not my circus, that very phrase I've had to teach Hubster to finally start to use at work. Yes. Destiny says, wow. Meredith says, today for self-care, I went on a small hike with my coworkers to enjoy the last warming day of the year. It was much needed. Beautiful. Yeah, that's a great thing to do. Just get out and walk. I think that the trees have a lot to whisper to us, but there's just so much nourishment there. And And that's key, I think, all the time. Take some time out. Take some time out. Be with people, but be with people in the outdoors if you can, and just soak up that kind of connection all around you is really, really beautiful. I'm just taking more time alone. I think that that's really what needs to happen this year, or at least for the end of this year. I am feeling fairly excited because my husband, who I love dearly, and we have an amazing relationship, but we also have a lot of freedom in our relationship. So he's going to be going away for a month. And I'm so excited because I've got like a whole plan for what I'm going to do for this month. Basically, I'm just going to walk around in PJs and fluffy socks. I'm taking over the dining room table because I also have, I'm working finally on redoing and fixing this book proposal that's just been giving me a lot of like stress. So I'm going to just working on that in my pajamas, in my fluffy socks, all over the dining room table. I'm going to take over the house like as if I were a single girl. It's going to be amazing. And a lot of quiet time. I'm really excited about just having a lot of alone quiet time, and also potentially sleeping in the middle of the bed. So that's part of it for me, and really making choices around what kind of holiday celebration we're really going to be doing in a way that is good for everyone, but also allows for space and boundaries if those are needed. Yeah, like that. Hey, Project Refine Life. I'm glad that you finally made it. We are done with our oracle reading, but you can definitely catch that on the replay because I'm forgetting my words. Feral Oracle says, is the maker of these decks the same Juliet Diaz who wrote the book Plant Witchery? I don't know, Feral. Does anyone else know the answer to that question? And then season we moon when my. I don't know if you're correcting a sentence or if you hit enter too soon. Alexa says, my book recommendations on occult history, witchcraft. Oh, any book recommendations on occult history, witchcraft, magic, etc. I want to learn more about our history as witches, but don't know where to start. Alexis, I feel like you're kind of like psychically tied into me right now because I literally spent the morning. I'm a little freaked out by what you just asked. I spent the morning looking through a long list of like recs and then adding them to my like to be ordered pile because I really want to dive into that much deeper. And I don't have good recs, and that's why I wanted to read a bunch of books. So I have a long list of books that I added to my cart. Oh my god, to buy. So I don't have any recommendations for you now, but there will be soon because Mama's going to dive deep into that so that we can finally get like at least a list of what are the good primers, the good ones that we want to read in terms of our history, and you know, the occult history, the witchcraft, the modern witchcraft history. All of those things are important to know. So coming, I don't know when exactly, but coming. Which reminds me, I actually have a couple of announcements. I'll write myself a list. Here we go, from Julmar. When my dear heart is away, I put fresh linens on the bed and sleep in the middle of our king size bed too, right? And here's the thing, when we travel apart or when we're not staying in the same house, we always call each other, and I always ask every morning, like, how'd you sleep? It's just a thing. And he'll always say, I slept amazing without you. And I'm like, I know, I slept amazing without you too. However, we still make it a point to, when we're in the same house, to sleep in the same bed. We were in, not that if you don't, that's not a, it's fine if you don't. So I don't want to like cast judgment, but we were traveling through Spain, I don't even know, maybe 4 years ago. And we were staying in an Airbnb that had several bedrooms. And one of them, A, had several bedrooms, but then also B, there was one with like 2 twin beds. And there was, and all of the biggest beds were full size, and he's like 6'2", like he's a long dude with all kinds of like angles with his limbs, and a full size bed is not the right size for us. But there's this fear that we have that if we're in the same house and we start sleeping in different beds, that it's going to become a habit. And there's something so yummy about having that warm body next to you and you get to curl up, even though we don't sleep as well together as we do when we're apart. Anyway, that is such personal TMI, but trust and believe, I'm going to be spreading across that entire bed, and he's going to be where he's going to be, sleeping amazingly well, and so am I, and I'm so excited. So this is also part of the self-care. Oh gosh, wait, I think that I scrolled past where I was seeing. Yes, that's her. Okay, so the answer is that yes, that's her. Wonderful. I haven't read her books. It might be cool to check those out, Juliet. I'll check out the books by Juliet Diaz as well. Crafting My Life said, Elena, have you ever thought about teaching a class on reading oracles? I love the way you read oracles. You managed to turn a divine message into something extremely concrete. No. No, I've never thought about it. Certainly, as you guys all know, I've thought about teaching a bunch of other classes. But on reading oracles, I don't even know how to codify that the way I do it, right? So I know that I don't do it the way others do. I also tend to be, I just had this, you guys are tapped in, because I also had this conversation yesterday with someone about how my woo, first of all, I don't like the whole woo woo and the woo. I really would like for us to get rid of those words and just call the thing what it is, but I digress. My mysticism, my spirituality, my witchery, my all of that tends to be pretty grounded and concrete. I'm not one of these people who are barely tied to the planet. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a difference, and there's a space and a place for both and everything in between. So when I do oracle readings, I tend to be pretty concrete and rooted in an earthly way. When I do it, I just don't know how I would teach that, because that's just kind of how I see the world. And how do you teach someone? I don't know. I have no idea. Hold on, because I love her books. Oh, and you had a two-part comment that I missed. Okay, so into something extremely concrete that you can be manifested in everyday life. Not everyone is able to do that. Thank you. So many always remain too esoteric or vague. Yeah, I'm all about the concrete. I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe my Virgo moon, but I need things to be applicable. I need things to make sense in the concrete world, because we're straddling both. And oftentimes the woo-woo, which, why am I saying this? The esoteric or the vague can be way too beyond the veil, and we need to be able to straddle both worlds in a way that's applicable and makes sense. Lissem says, Alexis, I get tons of great book advice from Foolish Fish. Oh, Foolish Fish. I'll write that down too. Foolish Fish. On YouTube, there are lots of book review videos. I'm deciding where to start too. Beautiful. I'll check that out too. Abby says, Juliet Diaz is the same author. She wrote the card phrases on these cards. Wonderful. Alexis, tell me if you deleted your message or if YouTube did it for you, because it's all very weird. I don't know. YouTube has a little bit of a mind of its own. Mimsy says, all of my books are boxed up, so I can't get to them and to give titles. It's really distressing for me to have my books in boxes, I gotta tell you. And then she says, there's some new research that couples sleeping apart is better for your sleep than sleeping together. I mean, I imagine so, because when you've got even when you have a baby, new moms who have who do co-sleeping or family beds, there's always a part of you that's aware, right, of the person next to you, of any shifting or changing. And so I don't know that we ever go as deep into our sleep as possible. But the other part of it is that we are at our core, at our more primal space, we're animals. And there's something so primally important to our overall physical, emotional, and soul health to be with our teeny pack, right? We're touching, we're in bed together. There's a vulnerability there. There's an intimacy there, yes, but there's also a comfort and a safety and a belonging. It speaks to all parts of ourselves when we are in bed with other people, or our partner, or our children, or whoever, friends even. How many times I don't know if anyone's doing this anymore, but I've done many a time when me and the girlfriends are either away for a trip or we're together in the same house and everyone just kind of jumps on the bed and starts talking in the morning. Like, I love that. However, there is that very real reality, right? When we're apart, I don't hear you snoring, or I don't hear you breathing, or when you shift, I don't kind of come out of my dream a little bit to see what's going on. I'm out. It's amazing. I'm out. Yeah. So you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be enjoying it. So I enjoy it when he's gone, and then I enjoy it when he comes back. So it's nice. Let's see. Her book made me feel comfortable being a witch. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Destiny. I'm assuming, Destiny, that you're talking about Juliet's book. I want to check it out. I don't even know why I haven't checked out her books. Camilla. So, Camilla, if you feel comfortable, did you delete your comment? Or did YouTube do it for you? I feel like you deleted it. Okay, so Alexis deleted it. Okay, good. Okay, I think that if it's a questionable spammy thing that YouTube tells me, but then I don't trust it because this is new and I don't want you guys to feel like you're getting deleted when you're not. Okay, the book Plant Witchery is delicious. Oh, I can't wait. Project Refined Life says Juliet Diaz also has a couple of books. Also she has another Oracle deck, Earthcraft. Yes, Project Refined Life. Someone else already recommended the Earthcraft deck. I'm gonna check it out. And another vote for Foolish Fish. I had never heard of Foolish Fish. I'm excited. You guys you're bringing the references and the recommendations today. I love it. Weemoon says, I've cleared my personal library and will be revisiting books such as The Great Cosmic Mother. You know what I love so much? I love a lot of things about you, Jilmar, but we are probably of the same generation. So when you bring up these old books from back in the day, it just makes my heart so warm because I just got chills too, because that was one of the books. All of those books just were part of they're still so much part of my foundation, but it was like the beginning, right, of my path. The Great Cosmic Mother. If I'm not mistaken, The Great Cosmic Mother, was that daily or was that, don't tell me. Gambutas? Who wrote the Great Cosmic Mother? I was reading Marija Gambutas all the time. Mary Daly, who I think at this point in history is very controversial, but at the time she was controversial always, I think. Her books just broke my world open in such a profound way. I still have the books. I'd love to go back. Actually, you are reminding me of an announcement that I'm going to need to make, and also that I'm going to be making in the next booktube video. I'll get to that in a second. Autumn Star. All that to say that I appreciate you. And I appreciate where you came from. I love it. Autumn Star, hello all. I have an 8-month-old. She's in her crib across the hall and I still don't sleep. I'm checking on her all night. Also, I can't sleep without my husband. I mean, there's that. So I think that what Autumn is speaking to, well, there's two things that Autumn you're talking about, because I don't know that moms sleep for the first, I don't know, 20 years, right? There's that. Because now I think it's almost biological that you're going to be constantly tending to your baby, no matter how old they are. And then the other part of it is that when we sleep with someone else, there's safety there. I definitely fall asleep easier when I'm not alone in the home or when I'm not alone in bed. And when I am alone, I may sleep deeper later, but it takes me a lot longer to sleep because I am kind of like, what's going on in the house? What was that noise? There's still some of that fear. And interestingly, when we had our dog and John would be traveling and I'd be at home alone, having the dog in the house also helped me sleep quicker, like fall asleep quicker and easier without a whole lot of like issue. So we're meant to be with people. As much as I could do alone, because I'm also incredibly introverted, and I've always historically in relationships before I met John and married John, I would take a long time between all of my romantic relationships because I liked being alone just as much, if not sometimes more than being in a relationship. There is something so animal and primal and important and critical about being with others. So all of that. I'm reaching out to wonderful women to join me at our local coffee shop. Oh, wonderful. I love that, Jilmar. Wonderful. Mimsy says, Autumn Star, as a grandma, I can tell you all might change. And Camilla says, no, it just was not in with the topic. I'm slow at writing. Oh, no worries. Listen, if you are slow in writing and you're writing about something that we talked about, like, an hour ago, you can go ahead and bring up the question. It's all good. I love you and my yard, and I'm yards older than you. This is Star. You're 64. Well, rock on with your 64-year age. That's an amazing, like, you are full on Queen Crone. I love it. Barbara Moore and the great Monica Shu. Remember Monica Shu's artwork? Her artwork is on the cover, isn't it? Oh my God. I'm having such flashbacks. It's wonderful. Oh, and your dear hubby's 57. Beautiful. Project Refined Life says, my son is 37 and I still have sleepless nights worrying about him. Yeah, I don't know how you parents do it. I'll be very, very honest. I don't know how you do it. I don't know. I have my best friend had her baby. It's gonna be 3 years in January. I can't believe how fast this goes. But this little girl is the love of my life, and getting to watch them grow together and bond together over the years has been beautiful and an honor. And I don't think that she would mind me saying, the mom would mind me saying that she probably hasn't slept at all in the last 3 years. And it's like, how do you survive? How do you survive parenthood? I don't know how you do it. So hats off to all the just badass moms out there who are raising babies, because it is full time and a half work, but it's also even more so for your soul and for your heart. And I would worry. I don't think I would be able to survive without meds. Like, you know what I mean? And seriously, that's not even a joke. I can't imagine. I can't imagine, because I worry and I'm not even her mom. It's like I'm not even with them. So I can't imagine what that's like. All right. Announcements really quickly while other things are coming through really quickly. The easy announcements are that the November books, no, well, those are already mailed out and arrived, and they're still on sale. We have a couple of those bundles left, so there's that. But the November box has started to go out in the mail since yesterday. A bunch will go out today and tomorrow. By tomorrow, they'll all be out in the mail. And then the extras for that box will be on sale on Friday. So that's November. The December book subscription is going to be a fun one. It's all going to be about stitching and knitting and sewing and weaving for magic. And what I really want us to do is bring all of our craftiness and have the craftiness together on our live Zoom at the end of the month. Excuse me, with the two authors. It's going to be a fun one. So if you want to be part of that and you're not subscribed to the books, to the book subscription, get in on that before the 15th, because the 15th is the cutoff date to subscribe and make sure that you get the December books. So if you go to thewitchesbox.com, go to the store, the subscription is there. I don't have someone here to give you the links today. And then the other announcement is an announcement that I'm going to make an actual booktube video about right after I get off of this. And that'll show up next Monday. But I am taking a booktube review break until January, because I have a very big stack of books that I'm reading for research that doesn't make sense at this point to do reviews on, but I can't do all of that reading while I do the reading for the channel, because there's no way. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. So I'm going to take a break until January. We will still be doing our Tuesday live. We will still be doing our live guided meditation on Friday. And I think that in 2 weeks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch. There has been a lot of talk over the years about like answering questions. You all send all sorts of questions through social media, through here, through email that I've accumulated. And I think I'm going to do like a single question Q&A kind of video shorts that I'll just release each week here on YouTube. And that's it. And then I'll pick back up with the booktube reviews in January, because I need to just turn off all the extra reading and really go in on these books. And I can't do both. I wish that I had the capacity, but I don't. So that's the big announcement. Okay, so Miss Melissa has a random question. Do you have favorite witch shops for baby witches to get the basics? I want to get basics for my altar. I'm so excited to be subscribed to your box. Wonderful. Welcome to the subscription. And online shops, because I don't know where you are location wise. Here's what I'm going to say. I don't really go into witchy shops anymore, just because I think we've been on lockdown for so long. And also I kind of have everything I want, unless I'm traveling, and then I'll check out the town that I'm in to see if there's anything exciting or cool to check out and that's new in a store. In Southern California, where I'm at, there is a place called the Psychic Eye, and the Psychic Eye actually has 2 locations in Southern California. Pretty much anything and everything that you've ever wanted to get, you can check out. And I think that the Psychic Eye has a website. I don't know if they actually mail order. So there's that. The other great shop that's kind of like the emporium for witchiness and paganism is azuregreen.net. I'm gonna write it down. Hold on. azugreen.net. There's azuregreen.net, and they have pretty much all the things, the candles, the incense, the altar cloths. They have small little wooden, really cool and affordable, like little wooden altar tables if you want something like that on your desk or on the floor. They've got pillows, they've got tapestry, they've got everything, and then some. They've got crystals, they've got books. And I think Emporium feels like the right word for them. They've got everything. So online, that's the one that I think I would recommend, just because if you don't even know what you're looking for, you can go down their long list of categories and kind of begin to find the things that you might want and you need. And then the other, in terms of like walking into a store, the Psychic Eye in Southern California is kind of the one, but I don't know of any other shops or anything in other places. Now, if you go to Glastonbury, there is, I think, is it the Seven Sisters or the Sacred Sisters? Who's been to Glastonbury? That's kind of the best place to. Random. Mimsy says, as a parent, it's hard to separate from your child, but for your mental health as well as the child's, you have to find a way. I have stories, long ones, that one day I will share. You need to write a book, Mimsy. I think that that's your calling. Alexis says, when it comes to spells, does the verbiage just come with practice as you develop within your craft? I know intent is absolutely crucial, but feel my words don't have as much strength when casting. That's a great question. So this is kind of like a multi-layered answer. Verbiage is important in the way that it conveys the intention. Okay, so that's layer number one. You want the intention and the verbiage to the intention to be clear, to be simple. Because if you start to get super flowery and super convoluted when you write the intention, that can dispel some of the energy. Okay, so when it's just about what is the exact intention, you want it to be simple, to be clear, to be concrete, and as specific as possible. Now, if you're going to do an invocation, if you're going to do an enchantment, we tend to want to employ some poetry to it, some lyricism to it, only because what that does is it adds a little bit of the drama. And when I say drama, I don't mean it in the negative sense. I mean the impactful sense. We are claiming something. And when we get, broad isn't the right word. When we get expressive and expansive in the way that we're calling forth this very concrete and very specific intention, that adds the energy to what you're saying and to what you're invoking and to what you're calling. But then there are people who are like, look, man, I'm not a poet, and rhyming a bunch of things doesn't work for me. If that's you, that's totally fine, because we all come to the table with different skill sets. So if you have a very, like, let's just use a super concrete specific thing. I should just have a go-to for this. All right, let's go. This is not a good intention, but I want $500. No, you wouldn't say that. $500 in my bank account on Friday, right? Concrete, $500 in my bank account on Friday. Now, that's not specific enough, because it could be that just my balance happens to be $500, or it could mean that $500 is deposited in my account. It's not a good intention, but you get the picture. It's not poetic. It's not pretty. It's just $500 in my bank account on Friday. If you can't take that, or you don't feel comfortable taking that and making it a little bit more flowery, poetic, flared with drama, so that you are in circle or in your spell and you invoke this, you don't have to do it that way. You can do it differently, where you say the intention and it might feel a little flat, but you want to bring in emotion, you want to bring in some feeling, because that energy is what supports the manifestation of the spell. You can do it through physical movement. You can do it with music. You can do it with sounding that raises your energy in your body. And it doesn't have to be let me write this beautiful poetic, epic poem. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question? Let me know. Because part of what it is, and I don't know if I've already said this, is that when you speak it, when you invoke it, it needs to have energy. It needs to have life and emotion and charge. That's what the word I was looking for. It needs to have some sort of charge. And so $500 in my bank account on Friday is like flat. But you can add to that with your body movement, with sounding, with music, with different things that can raise that energy and that emotion up if you don't feel comfortable with the whole flowery. I feel like I've diverged from what you really asked, so let me know if that works. Hold on. Rachel says, I will miss your reviews, but also maybe now I'll get a chance to read all the other books you've recommended are piling up on my shelf. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So we all get to catch up. Maybe that's what it is. We'll just claim this next month and a half as catch up time. I'll mention that in the video that I'll record after this. Any book recommendations on working with Kali? Yes. You want, I mean, this might not be what you're looking for, but you want to look up a woman by the last name of Harding, Harding. She's done extensive research and writings on Kali. It starts with an E. It's not Esther Harding. And she's going to come at it from the perspective of Hinduism. She's not going to come at it from the perspective of witchcraft, but from the perspective of a Westerner working with Kali and learning about Kali. Learning the context and history of Kali is super important to working with Kali. Oh, I'm going to have to put something out on that because I have several of those books, but it's been a very long time since I've read them. Harding. I don't know. Right now, as we speak, a Kali list of Rex. Right now, as we speak, Emily and Elliot both are doing the hard work of collecting every single recommendation on books I've ever made, as well as all the books that we've ever sent out through the subscription, as well as all the BookTube recommendations, right? Because I do recommendations here, I do them on BookTube. So they're bringing all of that together so that we can have a page on the website that says, here are the books that we recommend on Kali. Here are the books that we recommend on brand new witches. Here are the books that so you'll have a place to go where you can kind of like scan in little chunks. And then it can be a cheat sheet for me so that I can kind of have the web page open when you ask. I can look at my own notes. So that's coming. But I'll put that somewhere because you're not the only person who's asked about Kali. And I do have I have a pretty extensive library on Kali. And I just can't remember them because I can barely remember my name. It's really kind of distressing to me at this point. Oh gosh, I feel like I've skipped something. Rachel says, Miss Melissa, you just helped me out because I'm going to LA to see, what is BTS over things? Is BTS that band? I'm aging myself. I have no idea who BTS is over Thanksgiving. And I was about to ask if there were any good witch shops I needed to visit when I was there. Yes. So, Rachel, psychic guy. The other thing, I don't know if they're open anymore or not, but it's kind of like it's kind of a seminal space. They closed for a while, but I think that they opened. It's called the Bodhi Tree in LA. That's in I think that's in West LA. Check out the Bodhi Tree. But Psychic Eye is in Torrance, as well as another part of LA, which is a great place to check out. Oh my gosh, there's a lot going on in Los Angeles. Melissa says, I'm so glad you found the question helpful. Okay, you're talking to Rachel. Sorry, I don't know why my little chat situation is jumping back and forth. Angela says, yes, I didn't know that. We'll check out the Psychic Eye locations in California because my first was in Vegas. It's like church when I first browsed and the craft resonated with me. It can be. And this is the thing. I highly suggest every single one of you, regardless of where you are, do a little research on like what metaphysical shops are in your immediate area, because the beauty of it is, even if it's not a super extensive shop, it's a place where people go to find out what's going on in the community, in the local community. It's where I first found out about an amazing group back in the 90s Also, we were like, that was way pre-internet and social media, but that's where I found out about groups and rituals and things that were happening, is that I went into a metaphysical shop and there was a billboard and people posted flyers and information. So it's a great way to find out what's going on in your community, but it's also a great way to support which is in your community if they've got a shop going on. So I definitely recommend doing a little sleuthing for your area to see what's available. Mimsy says, me writing a book has been something others have been telling me for years, something I'm willing and have tried looking into, but it's a complicated process. Publisher. Yeah, my recommendation, Mimsy, is don't worry about the answer to that question of publisher versus self-publishing. Just get the outline done first and start writing, because that'll start to inform you as you go. I'm like that too, where I can get too caught up in the prelims that aren't even about the writing of the book. Like, where would I publish it? Who do I want to publish it? When was like, what is a good season to release? Like, all these things don't matter until you actually have the thing. Have the thing, and then you can do research on how to put it out into the world. One more question from Melissa. You can ask as many questions as you want. I have some health issues that have very much slowed down my metabolism. I've been working on my thyroid, but I'm also wondering if you know of a metabolic healing spell. That's a great question. The first thing that came to my mind, but let me think about that. The first thing that came to my mind is working with inner fire, because part of what metabolism is kind of like your internal furnace, the ability to take energy and convert it into energy that, or the ability to take your nutrients or your nourishments or your substances and convert it into energy is part of the oh my god, I'm losing my words, part of the metabolic process, right? Hold on. And so the first thing that came to mind was working with your internal fire, your body's fire. We have here on YouTube, I'm thinking, there's a guided meditation that works with, I think it's called Fire Dash the Will, maybe, but we're working with the solar plexus and your solar plexus chakra and fire. This is like the place of your fire, and will and what you're able to do in the world is part of that. But when you fuel that chakra, it's like you're igniting your internal furnace. And sometimes when you already have a well working internal furnace, this is specifically around digestion, but it's also affected by all of your hormonal systems, right? So when you charge one, all of them kind of fall into place. For those who have that part of their energetic body and physical body working fine, you can almost go way too overboard, and it creates heartburn and acid indigestion, and also, and like those really irritated pimples that come from like heat, not necessarily dirty pores. So you can go over, but if you have an underburning metabolism, if you start to charge this area of your body, and that's a super simple meditation that we have here on the YouTube channel, but it's effective. You're bringing fire back into your body. You're bringing fire back into your energetic body so that you burn more. You are able to actually transmute the building blocks of your body into actual energy through that fire, which is your metabolism. So that's one thing that comes to mind. Hold on. The other thing that comes to mind is if you, I don't know if you do sigil work, but if you create a sigil, and this might be much more of a refined hit, right, than doing the inner fire solar plexus chakra meditation, where you create a sigil specifically for turning back up your metabolism, to turn it up to optimal burning capacity or burning or working capacity, and you activate that sigil and you drop it in, because this is I think that this is one of the things that sigil magic is so great for, because ultimately when we work with sigils in this way, we are entering programming into our subconscious. So it's work and magic that's happening within us and through us. It's not the kind of magic that is about like calling something outside of yourself in. You are pre-programming within yourself. And in a lot of ways, this is like not supposed to be like a long exposition on sigil work, but in a lot of ways, when we do sigil work, it really speaks to me. This is why I find it so exciting. It speaks so so perfectly to me to the power of our minds that we have yet to tap, because you take a sigil and it represents something that you want, and you drop it in like code into your subconscious, and then your subconscious is working in the background to make this happen, but it's all you. This is why I think it's so sexy. So you can create a sigil specifically for whatever it is. You know your health and your medical history most intimately. Whatever that perfect level of operation would be for your metabolism, you create the sigil, you activate it, you drop it in, and then you forget about it and let that take like work and take shape within you as you go. That can be really powerful as well. So those are the two things I recommend. My verbal skills are floundering, you guys. Sorry. Elizabeth U. Harding. Thank you, Elizabeth. Perfect. That's the name of the woman who, she's written quite a few things. This might be a little too academic for you. And I forgot who, I'm sorry, I forgot who was asking about Kali, but when you're working with a deity of any kind, it's so critical that you understand the cultural context from where they came, but also the history and the way others have worshipped this deity and the way others have seen the deity, because it gives you so much information about and well-rounded or more well-rounded information about the deity, the energy, the way that energetic stream moves in the world, and how the view of that deity has changed over time so deeply and intimately informs the way you will connect with and work with that deity. So Harding is really great. She's written a lot. It can be much more academic than you're probably looking for, but I will try to find my list somewhere that I can post. Maybe what I'll do is I'll post. Can I do that? I'll post a list maybe on Facebook. Not Facebook. Well, no, I can do it on Facebook. I'll post it on our Facebook and I'll post it on our Instagram in the next week, and I'll have Emily slip it in there. Because yeah, really, really good stuff. And I have quite a lot on Kali. Kali's kind of I have a big sweet spot for Kali. Mimsy says it's not about asking for 500, it's asking for the essence of what the 500 would bring. What it's intended for, ask for that instead of the exact dollars. Sometimes, not all the time. It just depends on how you need it. Right, the old good cone of power. Exactly, crafting my life. That was referring to the conversation we had with the writing and the energy. Why is my little thing just jumping around? Like the little text stream just kind of keeps, I don't know. Crafting my life put, okay, so it's Elizabeth U. Harding, Kali, the black goddess of Dakshineshwar is how you say that. It's always difficult for me to say that word. Yes. And is that the only book she's written? Because I feel like she's written 2 others on Kali. I'll put a list out. So just keep an eye out on Facebook and on Instagram this week for a list of books on Kali. Melissa says, I'm in DC, but the local metaphysical shops haven't had a lot to offer. A lot of altar or witchcraft supplies. Yeah, definitely, Melissa, check those 2 online resources then. I think that Psychic Eye definitely has an online store, so check that out, but also Azure Green. Thank you, Elena. That makes so much sense to work with fire because my energy has felt so low. I will definitely do that meditation. I'm so excited to try the sigil. Yeah, the sigil can be really cool too. Definitely do both. I work with sigils. Do you have any book recommendations on sigil work? Yes. Book recommendations on sigil work. I may need one of you helpers to go through my YouTube channel, but not yet. Okay, so the first thing is I don't remember the exact name of it, but it's by Laura Tempest Zakroff. She wrote, I think it's Sigil Witchery is the name of her book. We featured it here like a million years ago. It's really good. The other series of books that are so easy to read and they're so cheap and affordable that you can get on Amazon. I think Amazon only. And I think this is a pen name because I don't know who this person is, but the author's name is Anushin Leonte. I did a bunch of booktube reviews on his books a long time. Like they're old. I almost don't even want you to look at them because they're really kind of cringe-worthy in their production value. They're horrible. But he has a bunch of teeny digital books on working with sigils. They're literally like an hour read max. And I think they sell between 99 cents to $2.99 each. There are, I think just about everything he's written is on sigil work, even though there's one on Kali, there's one on Jupiter, there's one there are a couple of different books by him on very specific topics or working with very specific energetic streams, but all of it through sigil work. There are I think there are three, potentially four, that have the word sigil specifically in the name of the book or the title of the book. um I really loved his take. I loved the way he approached it. He's the one that I think, if I'm not mistaken, was the first person that I read talk about using sigils as both a way to kind of I mean, the metaphor of downloading code is kind of my own, although I'm sure other people use it as well. He doesn't use it in those terms, or he doesn't say it in those terms, but that is one way of using sigils. The other is using sigils as portals into other dimensions. So he talks about doing that, using portals as a two-way communication line between you and an entity or a energy stream. So he has quite a lot more going on in terms of how to use sigils in various ways. That's not just the more traditional way of, I created a sigil for the thing that I wanted and then I activated it and I was done. So I recommend those books because they're super easy reads, they're super affordable, but also it gives you a much broader range on how to work with sigils. And then also the Laura Tempest Zakroff book on sigil witchery. So there's that. Sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't. So there you go. Let's see, Melissa. Yeah, I read that already. Melissa says, I've never worked with sigils. Do you have any book? Okay, I already did that. Okay, Alexa says, totally understand the academic side of deity work. I've studied in yoga. Oh, perfect. And currently in a program to become an Ayurvedic practitioner. Oh, this will be totally up your alley. I love and appreciate the ordinance. Okay, so then you just said that, and another book came to mind. If I'm not mistaken, it's by Dr. Frawley. And I'm sure he's probably familiar to you because he's also written a couple of books on Ayurveda. But it's the 10 wisdom goddesses. I'm not quite sure how this title is on the book cover, but it's I think it's Mahavijja's The 10 Wisdom Goddesses. That book is amazing because it goes through who the 10 wisdom goddesses are. Kali is one of them. And it's one of those books that I read over and over again every couple of years because when I first read the book, it spoke to the energy very specifically about each of these deities in a way that just blew my mind. So much so that it's like it was way beyond my intelligence grasping, that kind of thing, where we talk about deities like, oh, this is the goddess of destruction and rebirth, and we leave it there. And that means something, but this book doesn't go that route. This book really goes into what almost feels like the deep quantum physics of the energy of each of these deities. In there is I mean, I think it's maybe even like just 7 pages on Kali in that book, and it blows the doors off the hinges. So I would recommend that book as well, especially since you have a background in Ayurveda and in yoga. It would totally be up your alley. Hold on. I think that's it. Okay. It comes, I got to give it to you, and then it goes. I don't know. Plus, I'm a total nerd when it comes to learning something new. I always dive in like a student. Beautiful. I totally feel that. Crafting My Life says, hi, Melissa. I have a thyroid syndrome too. I try to work hard with my throat chakra. That as well. Yes. Through meditation, crystals, flower essence. If you know someone who practices Reiki, you can combine it with medicine. Yes, that's a beautiful recommendation. You're welcome, Melissa. Alexa says, oh yeah, I'm familiar with Frawley. Haven't read that book yet, but sounds perfect. I've been trying to cultivate a relationship with feminine divine. All right, Alexis, are you I don't know, tell me where to find you so that I can send you a list, because I've got things. I've got things that marry all of those things together. But I don't know where to find you because I feel like maybe you follow me on my personal Instagram, but that could be another Alexis. But in a way that feels safe and comfortable for you, tell me where I can DM you a list and we can go from there. Alexis, Kali, Shri, and Mahavijja. Um, divine. Now, specifically, what I'm thinking is that the divine feminine through this lens, right, of yoga and Ayurveda, because I can give you quite a lot. Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Frawley. I already read that. Nope, that's me. That is you. Okay, because okay. Um, let me see. I will try to send you something hopefully by the end of the day. We'll see how that goes. Because I may just send you a picture of the spines of my books on the shelf, so you may get it that way. All right. Feral Oracle says, I'm currently fighting thyroid cancer. My heart goes out to anyone dealing with thyroid issues. I am so sorry to hear that. I know it's an incredibly our thyroid is really such a pivotal gland in our entire existence. And so any kind of destabilization there can be incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult. All right, my loves. Any other like major, like just I have to ask burning questions so that we can do one or two more and then I will close it out because we are still packaging boxes in my energy. I probably only have another 2 hours of work in me today and I need to help Erica pack boxes for you all. Was there any other announcement? Oh, and I still have to do another video. No, there aren't any other announcements really. I think that that's it. Okay. I have to wait because there's such a delay that I'm saying ask now or I'm going to go, but I also realize that I have to wait for a couple of minutes before you actually see what I said. It's a strange world. It's a strange world online. Okay, I think that's it. All right, my loves. Mwah. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. The next live will be on Friday where we do a live guided meditation at 10 in the morning Pacific time. And yeah, like that. If you caught this late and you want to check out the Oracle reading, you can do that on the replay. And that's all for today. Take care of yourselves. Yeah, take care of yourselves and slow down. Mwah. Bye.